Realme is back with its latest smartphones from its number series. And if you're familiar with the brand, phones from this lineup usually offer unique specs, features, and even designs that make them stand out from their peers. So for these two new phones, will Realme be able to, bring the same amount of excitement and follow through with performance? Well, we both have the two phones over here, but for this video, we'll be focusing more on the Plus variant. Hey guys, Kevin here, you're with the Modern Creatures, and welcome to another video. This is our Realme 9 Pro Plus review. Kicking things off with design, the Realme 9 Pro Plus comes with a shiny back panel, which is evidently becoming the trend for smartphones these days. Although the company says that this is its first time to apply photochromism or light shift design to its phones, specifically the sunrise blue color. What happens is when the sun or an artificial UV light hits it, it changes its color to a reddish shade, but also returns to its original color when no presence of UV light is being applied. Realme is actually not the first phone brand to do this. Vivo recently came out with the V23 that does the exact same thing when exposed to UV light. But they all have their own twist to their own designs, so that kind of makes them unique in their own ways. But for our Aurora Green model, there's also this colorful shine when light hits it, and this is thanks to what the company calls its 3-layer grain process, another first for Realme. It has this glittery kind of texture that's made to attract attention when you glance at its direction. I personally prefer muted or subtle colors for my phone, but this one has its own appeal as well. The glossy back panel attracts smudges, but not as much as other phones I've tried before. I like this kind of finish better since you don't have to keep on wiping your device if you're one of those who don't like smudges on their phones. There is a semi-large camera module in the top left corner that houses its triple camera setup with an LED flash. The module itself has a boxy and chamfered design, but slap its free silicone housing and it smoothens the corners right up to the bump. Button placement is separate for the power plus lock and volume rocker. And if you've seen our previous reviews, you'd know that I personally prefer this layout as it's easier to reach both without having to reposition my hand. The tray for dual nano SIM slots is also found on the left side and has no extra space for micro SD, so storage expansion isn't available here. Moving on, the top only has a single pinhole for microphone, while the bottom shows the 3.5mm audio jack, USB-C port, and a speaker grill. It's interesting to note that you do get dual speakers here, with the other one situated at the top and doubles as the loudspeaker for calls. And to top all those off, Realme says this is its slimmest phone from the number series with only 0.3 inches at its thinnest point. Its chamfered edges together with its reduced profile makes the 9 Pro Plus rest on the hand easier and feels more natural when you grip it. For its screen, the phone comes with a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display with Full HD Plus resolution. It's got fairly thin side bezels, a bit of forehead, and a noticeable chin. This then translates to a 90.8% screen-to-body ratio that's immersive enough, and the extra space up top and on the bottom provide a little handling area when the phone is in landscape orientation. It also carries a 90Hz refresh rate, so scrolling and gaming have more fluid movements. If you want a higher refresh rate though, the non-Plus variant has up to 120Hz. But going back to the 9 Pro Plus, it also has a 360Hz sampling rate, which basically translates to a faster recognition of the input you make, useful for competitive gaming where every split second counts. And to help protect its display, Corning's Gorilla Glass 5 reinforces the screen and helps keep it scratch and crack free as possible. In terms of picture quality, its panel being Super AMOLED affects much of the output of this device. Colors are vibrant, blacks are deeper, and contrast ratio is simply far better than that of an LCD screen. But on top of those advantages, the 9 Pro Plus also offers features that would further improve the way you browse photos, watch videos, and consume content in general. There's screen color mode that lets you choose between vivid for a P3 mode or go for natural mode if you prefer softer colors on your display. There's also a slider in case you want a cooler or warmer color profile overall, but that's not really a new feature. A unique one though is for consuming videos. The video color enhancer switches from standard dynamic range to high dynamic range to widen the color gamut when playing videos. This does increase battery usage, but it's been on for me the entire time. And in terms of audio, I mentioned it comes with dual speakers that evenly throw sound at you. This is unlike most mid-range phones with a single speaker and you could only hear clearly on one side of your ear. In short, I'm always for dual speakers in smartphones, simply because they make audio performance for users a lot better. Interestingly, its stereo Dolby Atmos speakers could reach a higher volume but still maintain composure. This is one of the rare phones that I wouldn't mind using its stock speakers for personal use while I'm remotely working, for example. So with a vibrant AMOLED display and a punchy pair of speakers, watching videos or streaming music is very enjoyable on the Realme 9 Pro Plus. Realme has been delivering phones with great optics, and the company just took things a notch further by giving this mid-range phone a sensor that's never been seen in this category. A 50-megapixel Sony sensor complete with OIS or optical image stabilization is equipped with the 9 Pro Plus, and as such, it's able to produce crisp and detailed photos straight out of camera. Without even the need to tweak its shots, you not only see clear images but also get treated to more natural colors. That for me is an important aspect when talking about taking photos. Shots taken in the day look sharp, have great dynamic range, and have a natural bokeh when shooting subjects up close. But once the sun sets, a different set of images come to life, especially when done with its long exposure mode. Images you capture are simply stunning and don't really look like they came from a smartphone shot with no tripod at all. This is the result of its OIS correcting unwanted movements while taking photos. This is why although EIS or electronic image stabilization helps avoid shakes, OIS is still a far superior method to remove unnecessary jerks and movements. So as a quick tip, if you're looking for a great way to avoid those, disturbing shakes while shooting, always go for OIS rather than EIS. And while we're still on low-light photography, its noise reduction engine 3.0 does a really good job of smoothing out digital noise commonly seen in darker areas. I recently reviewed another mid-range phone that shows a lot of this noise when shooting in low light, but I'm glad to report the 9 Pro Plus produces cleaner shots overall. Its accompanying 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle sensor also produced images with detail and clarity close to that of its main 50-megapixel counterpart. This is not always the case, and sometimes the difference is really seen when you compare photos shot by the main versus photos shot by its supporting cameras. This just means that the software Realme is using to tweak its images translates very well whether it's shooting from the main sensor or the ultra-wide-angle camera. Its 2-megapixel macro sensor is just okay and doesn't actually offer better quality than what its main sensor can capture. Because of this, I can't help but feel like this is more of a gimmick than an actual useful feature. For its selfie camera, I was once again impressed with how detailed it captures portraits even at night and with bokeh mode activated. And while it's not perfect at cutting out subject from the background, it's a lot better than other portrait selfies I've seen recently. Whether you're alone or with a group, you get upload-worthy selfies almost all the time. Doing all the processing work is a MediaTek Dimensity 920 CPU. It's also got 8GB of RAM and 256GB of an expandable storage as I mentioned previously. This combination churned tasks and commands with ease, and the usual things I do on my phone like browsing social media sites, streaming music and videos, and playing games are all done effortlessly. And since it comes with a 5G modem, I could rely on its data connectivity whether I'm uploading or sending big files digitally or simply playing online games with friends. This is one of the reasons that makes me think having 5G is not just a luxury anymore, but a necessity, especially with today's abundance of remote working. Moving on, I did feel it get hot when I was playing games. It's more on the upper area of the device, but although it didn't hurt, you could definitely feel your hand getting warm after half an hour or so of continuous usage. It supposedly has vapor chamber cooling system to help dissipate heat, but I could still feel that warm glowing feeling from its chassis. For software, it comes with Realme UI 3.0 based on Android 12, and I've always liked how the company keeps the software as clean as possible with minimal bloatwares. You also get the usual features and optimizations to help make navigation easier and smoother. Powering the device is a 4500 mAh battery, and I know what you're thinking. Why not go for the standard 5000 mAh battery for phones with 6-inch displays and above, right? While it's true that having the extra 500 mAh space could give you a longer battery life, it could also be that Realme is confident of its MediaTek Dimensity 920 processor to be efficient enough to make the phone last long. This way, it's also able to cut down on battery space to achieve that slim side profile. True enough, one whole day of usage on a single charge is doable on the 9 Pro Plus, but you do have to be conservative on the features and settings you use. Turning on its color enhancers and its high refresh rate will all suck more power from your battery, so if you want to experience the best of what its display has to offer, better make sure you have a charger nearby most of the time. And with its 60 watts of super dart charge, I was able to refill the battery from 0 to 100 in just 46 minutes. And as always in our reviews, the Modern Creatures aims to find special features in devices that make them worth having. Their creature feature, and for the Realme 9 Pro Plus, it would definitely have to be its set of cameras. The phone was able to capture really impressive images that previously took time to achieve. Now, thanks to its features like OIS and a really capable sensor, you can produce amazing time-lapse shots without even a tripod. The Realme 9 Pro Plus in 8GB plus 256GB is priced at 23,990 pesos. With that, you get a shiny yet thin design, immersive multimedia tools, internals that can handle today's processes and tasks, and a camera system that produces impressive photos with natural colors even at low-light instances. So, are these tempting features to you? And at that price point, will you consider getting the Realme 9 Pro Plus? Let us know in the comments below. And that's about it for our Realme 9 Pro Plus review. As always, visit our website and follow us on our social media pages for more news, features, and reviews. Once again, that's it for me. I'm Kevin. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.